Back now to our live coverage of today's March for Our Lives rallies. They are taking place in several cities at this hour. We have students, of course, the survivors of the Parkland shooting in 2018, once again leading the call for change. They're outraged by the recent shootings in Buffalo and Uvalde as we give you a look at New York City right there. If you look at the front of that line that we were just showing you, we have the Attorney General and Mayor. You see there, Attorney General Letitia James in the orange. Mayor Eric Adams is right to the side of her there. So anyway, let's go right now to NBC's Brie Jackson, who's joining us from the rally and the march in Washington, D.C. Brie, big welcome to you. Describe to us the atmosphere there.
Protect us. Hi there, Alex. Yeah, well, we're here at this event in Washington, D.C., and this is expected to be the largest event of those events that are happening across the country. Now, we've talked with several people that have come out to today's event, and we've heard from people from Buffalo, from Virginia Beach, from areas that have been affected by gun violence in the past several years, and all of them are saying the same thing. They are saying that this is a time that needs to change. This needs to be the time to change, and that's why they came out here today. And they're all demanding that Congress do something. The speaker behind us just said enough is enough, and that is what we continue to hear from speakers on the podium as well as rally goers. Earlier today, I was able to speak with one of the organizers, X Gonzalez. She's one of the survivors of that shooting in Parkland several years ago. It was 4 years ago that they had this first march. I talked with her about the frustration of being back here 4 years later after another mass shooting at a school. Here's what she said.
The issue has never changed, unfortunately, because laws have not been passing. But, you know, the same things that were said before are being said now. And it's less of a show of we didn't get this done and more of a you didn't get this done. That's embarrassing for you. Why didn't you pass these laws?
Are scared and frustrated. You can hear the passion there in X Gonzalez's voice, and the speaker we're hearing now, she's saying the same thing, that Congress needs to act. And we heard from the president earlier today who tweeted out that he wants Congress to act. He talked about Congress having an assault weapons ban as well as strengthening background checks. Those are some of the measures that people here are asking Congress to do, and they're calling common sense measures. So negotiators are continuing to have their talks on Capitol Hill. But lawmakers, the president, as well as people here participating in today's rally are all calling for the same thing, and that's for Congress to act on gun legislation, Alex.
Absolutely, Brie. We will see if common sense prevails on Capitol Hill. Hope springs eternal, we'll say that. Well, thank you so much. Joining me now, the March for Our Lives movement. It is back in the wake of the Uvalde shooting. In fact, you're looking live right now at Washington, D.C., which is one of many places today across this country where tens of thousands are rallying for meaningful changes to gun laws. NBC's Brie Jackson is joining us from Washington. So, Brie, what are you hearing from the folks there?
Hi, Alex. We're hearing that calls for action from Congress, but I have to point out just a few minutes ago, there was a scare here. Someone was yelling while the speakers were on the stage, and it caused the crowd, someone in the crowd to start running because that's a reflection of the times that we are living in. You hear yelling. This is a rally where people are asking for gun safety changes to gun laws, and there was concern. People were running out of the fear for their life, fear that someone was upset about what type of rally this was and that there may be a shooter here. So I think that just gives you a reflection that people don't feel safe wherever they are, whether it's a school, whether it's a church, whether it's a grocery store, whether it's here at a rally for a cause. People don't feel safe. And so we talked with organizers earlier today about why they're coming out. They're calling for changes to gun laws. They're calling for something to be done to address mass shootings. In particular, this is an event that's been organized by those who survived that Parkland shooting 4 years ago. And I talked with X Gonzalez. She's one of the survivors from that. And I talked with her about the frustration of being back here 4 years later, another mass shooting at a school. And she talked about the call for action that she's demanding and the rally goers here are demanding from Congress.
We're trying to re-up and re-show Congress how important this issue is and how it's very important to us that this gets talked about and we actually get something done. I've been in a constant plateau of just mad, so angry, and ready to make this change no matter the cost. Like, this is gonna happen.
What makes this time different?
you want to answer that?
Yeah, sure. Honestly, I just think that I've seen so much political movement on both sides of the aisle. So when we've had like our lobby meetings and things like that, the fact that Republicans have been willing to like meet with us and Democrats have been like equally on our side, I think it's a really big moment.
This is a different moment. That's what we're hearing from several people here. We heard it from those speakers. We heard it from some of the participants. We heard it from Cori Bush, one of the lawmakers, members of Congress. They say this time feels different. They feel that there's more bipartisanship happening when it comes to the negotiations on Capitol Hill. Some of the things that they know are in comes to background checks, or at least expanding parts of background checks, making juvenile records, access to juvenile records part of those background checks. But those are some of the measures that people here are calling for and demanding from Congress, Alex.
Let's hope, Brie Jackson. Thank you so much. Coming up next, tracking the extent to which the Capitol riot was planned and organized. We know a lot more now than we did before.